Hey everybody, it's Joanne Musa, the Tax Lien Lady, and this is Ask the Tax Lien Lady live on my Facebook page for Tax Lien Lady. So, so I'm here to answer your questions, and just when you get here, just let me know. You could put it in the comments, say hello, let me know what state you're in. And you could put your questions into the comments, but also let me know what state, because tax lien investing is different everywhere, every state. And in some states it can be different in different counties or different cities. So let me know what state or what municipality you're asking me about, and I'm happy to answer your questions about tax lien investing. And I know we had some questions beforehand that Nicole, when you get here, you could let me know what those questions were, and I will answer them here. I love to answer your questions here, and if I don't know the answer, I will find out, or I will point you in the right direction to get the answer to your question. Okay. I do have some announcements for you that I want you to know about. Today is, tomorrow. Tomorrow is two things. It's our last mentoring call, last planned mentoring call for the Indiana commissioners' tax sales, which are going on now. Sometimes they're referred to as the tax certificate sales in Indiana. The great thing about these sales is that the redemption period is shortened to only 4 months. And the price of the lien, the starting bid, is lowered in these sales. So this training is still going on now, and these sales are still going on now, and some of them are online. The Lake County sale, by the way, is going on today, started today, and it will continue over the next couple of days. You had to be registered in order to be in that tax sale. So if you're not registered, you can't participate in it now. But there are other commissioner sales going on in Indiana that you can still register for and bid at. They happen later this month. So if you're interested and you still want to get into that Indiana training that I'm doing, it is not too late. And Nicole, you could put in the link for that Indiana course. And Nicole is putting the questions that we got ahead of time that I can answer for you now. And I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Kingzu. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, but thank you for your question. And I know you were bidding in the Indiana sales. And you asked, what is a sheriff sale? Because most of the Indiana sales happen on a site called ZeusAuction.com. And along with the commissioner sales and the regular tax sales in Indiana, they also do the sheriff sales. And what's happening now because of COVID, because of the pandemic, is a lot of these platforms that do tax sales are now also doing sheriff sales. You'll see them now on sites like Bid for Assets and other sites that, but of course, Bid for Assets did sheriff sales before, but now states that did not have their sheriff sales online are now doing them online, like the state I live in Pennsylvania. And a sheriff sale is this: when a mortgage company forecloses on a property because of failure to pay the mortgage, that's a sheriff sale. And it's normally done in the sheriff's office or in the county office because it goes through the sheriff. That's why it's called a sheriff sale. Okay, so I hope that answers that question. And then we have a couple of other questions. What lawyer do I need to purchase tax liens? And you don't need a lawyer to purchase tax liens. You do not need an attorney to purchase tax liens. However, in some states, you need an attorney to foreclose the lien if it doesn't redeem. And in a couple of states, you need an attorney once you purchase a lien. Okay. Indiana is one of those states because there's noticing that needs to be done in Indiana, and Illinois is another one of those states where you will need an attorney once you purchase a lien, but you don't need an attorney to purchase liens. Enrique, hello in Los Angeles. Okay. And Ray, no, that's right, Ray, you don't need an attorney. But in some states you do, after you purchase the lien, not before, not in order to purchase them, but after you purchase the lien, there's certain things that need to be done. Normally the tax collector does them, but there are a couple of states where the lien holder has to do them. And if they're not done right, you can lose your interest in the property. So in those states, you do need an attorney. And one of those states is Indiana. Okay. But you definitely don't need an attorney before you buy the lien. It's only after you purchase the lien. All right, now we have another question that we had ahead of time. And when you do an online auction, how do you check landlocked properties or properties without water rights? Okay, and that question is from Sally. Sally, that is a good question. And, you know, a lot of states you don't have to worry about water rights. But there are states that you do. And you would check with the zoning officer for that district. So it could be the municipal zoning officer, the town, the officer for that zoning officer for that town. So you would call them and ask, okay, about water rights if it's in a state where you have to worry about that. I live in Pennsylvania. We don't have that problem here. This is a temperate rainforest that I live in. But if you live in a desert area, I'm going to be moving sometime in the future to the other side of the country, to Washington State, but on the east side of Washington State. And I know I've always thought of Washington as rainy and trees, but that's not where I'm going to. Where I'm going to, it's really more like Utah and Arizona. It's a mountainous desert. So, you know, water rights, but where I'm going to is right by the Columbia River, so probably won't have that happen. But if you get away from there, there could be states like Arizona, Utah, states that have desert areas, you could run into a problem with water rights. If you don't have water rights, guess what? You can't build there. So you would have to check with the zoning officer. In my area where I live, you have to worry about putting in a septic. Okay, I live in a rural area. We have our own septic and our own well. And you need to be able to put in a septic. If you can't, technically they can't force you for not being able to build. You're still able to build, but you'd have to put in a very expensive septic system if it doesn't perk, if the land doesn't perk. Okay, so that's what I would have to worry about, is passing a perk test if I was buying vacant land. And there is really no way to know that for sure ahead of time. But one time I did pay a soil expert to do a soil test for me. So that's one way to do that. But the other part of that question that Sally asked was about how do you check landlocked properties? And basically I look at Google Maps, I look at an overhead map, and I could see, because I could see the boundary of the property of the map I look at, I use something called tax sale finders, which lets me see with the boundary of the property, the aerial map. So I can tell if it's landlocked because it will show me the roads. I could tell if it's landlocked. And that's something that members of the Tax Lien Profits Accelerator that have a subscription to my membership, they get access to that, so they could check that. Okay, so let's see what else we got here. All right, we have another question from Enrique. What do you believe is going to happen now that Biden approved 10B for delinquent mortgages and past due property taxes? Enrique, I am not a political person, I gotta say. I don't really keep up on that, and I don't really know what the 10B for delinquent mortgages is. So I don't know. And I don't, and if you could be more specific about that, I might be able to answer that question. I do expect more properties to be available in the tax sales. But that has nothing to do with that. 10 billion for delinquent mortgages and past due property taxes. Okay, delinquent mortgages will have nothing to do with the tax sales. Past property taxes will, but that's not a federal thing. That's a local government thing. And so far, tax sales in the areas that that I go to tax, they're happening. If you're delinquent, your property's going to tax sale. All right, people are still delinquent, their properties are still going to tax sale. And past due property taxes and delinquent mortgages are two different things. So I am not familiar with that bill, and I don't know exactly what that means. So if anybody else does, go ahead, chime in, because I do not, my husband keeps more up with what's going on politically than I do. I do follow other people who do keep up on that, but I haven't heard anything about that, like the National Tax Lien Association, but I haven't heard anything about that yet. Okay. Any other questions? Go ahead, give me your questions. And while you guys are thinking about your questions, I have more announcements for you. Already told you about the Indiana training, and Nicole has put the link in there for that. If anybody wants to get into that Indiana training, that training is lifetime access, so it will be there for you after we do the training. We still have a live call tomorrow night, and we have another bonus live call in 2 weeks. I also have a special workshop that I'm going to be doing that is free for everybody that wants to register for it. It's going to happen during the members coaching call that we have every month, but this one's going to be open to everybody because I will be updating the Tracking Your Liens training and doing a new Tracking Your Liens program during this training. And the reason is because I have new software for tracking your liens available to members. It is, I don't know yet what the cost is going to be because it's, it's something extra. So I will find that out, but it has the ability to track your liens for you and make that part easier. We already have tax sale finders, which makes doing your due diligence easier for you. And this is going to make tracking your liens and redeemable deeds easier for you. Okay, so that is happening Wednesday, April 21st at 2 p.m. And you can register to come into that training for free. Members get a training every month. This is one of those trainings, so they get to register every month for this. But we're opening this one up to everybody, so you can kind of get a taste of what members have access to, and also get a taste of this new program for tracking your liens. Okay. And Nicole, you could put the link in there to register, and she just did that. She put the registration link for that if anybody's interested in that. We have a lot of things coming up. We also have next Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. Next Wednesday night at 7:30 p.m. That is April 14th, is our wealth building webinar. and that is with Sally Gimmons. And Sally is going to be talking about the infinite banking concept, which is an awesome concept of it's actually an insurance policy that your insurance agent will never tell you about. It's kind of like tax liens, right? Your financial advisor is never going to tell you about tax liens because they don't make any money on them. Well, your insurance agent is not going to tell you about this type of insurance policy because they don't make much money on it. They make a lot more money selling you the other stuff, other whole life policies. This policy has a whole life component and a term component to it. But the whole life component has a cash value that earns money for you. It earns interest for you, and you could borrow it, and it's still earning interest while you're borrowing the money, and you could put it in something else like tax liens, right? Earn interest on your tax liens and still earning interest on the money you borrowed to put in your tax liens. It's awesome. So you're going to want to be on that wealth building webinar. It is free to come to the live call. If you want the replays, it's only $49 a month to become a member, wealth building webinar member. And you also get my tax lien investing basics course when you become a member. Okay. All right. So Nicole has put the sign up, the registration link for that as well. So she's put in there the registration link for the Tracking Your Liens 2.0 virtual workshop. That's going to happen on April 21st at 2 p.m. And she's put in the link for our next webinar, wealth building webinar, April 7th at 7:30 p.m. Okay, so those two links are in there for you. All right, so questions. Give me your questions. Okay, I'm here to answer your questions. I'm just going to take a sip of my energy tea. Okay. All right. All right, what can I help you with? And Nicole, I guess we've answered all the questions that were given to us beforehand. Oh, the link gave you an error message. Which link? Okay, so, Nicole, that link for wealth building webinars, that's not the one to actually, that just tells them about the wealth building webinars. So that will tell you about the wealth building webinars, and you could become a member if you want of wealth building webinars, but to actually register for the call, it's taxlienlady.com, and is it live free webinar registration or is it free live webinar registration? I always get the two mixed up. So maybe that's why that link didn't work. Oh, Enrique said webinar registration approved. Okay, Enrique, I don't know what you mean. Were you able to register? Or is the link not a good link? So did anybody else try that link? The one to register for the free wealth building webinar? And then Nicole put in a link to become a member of wealth building webinars. Okay. So while I'm waiting to find out about that, you guys can give me your questions. Okay, I have a question for you. What is your biggest challenge right now for investing in tax liens or tax deeds? All right, in the meantime, while you guys are thinking about that, write it in the comments. We got another question. Hi, Tay, how are you? In Charlotte, North Carolina, would you say this is a good area to start tax lien investments? No. North Carolina is a deed state. They don't have liens in North Carolina. I like South Carolina as one of my, South Carolina has redeemable deeds. So if you're close to South Carolina, I would go there. Yeah. North Carolina has deeds and they don't have much available either. Okay, so let's see what else. Nicole, can you help Enrique out with trying to register for the webinar? And I think he means the wealth building webinar. Okay. Okay, Summers Love is asking, how can I learn specifics for Georgia? Georgia is a redeemable deed state. It is very competitive. I have a course on redeemable deed investing. And if you go to taxlienlady.com into the workshop, it was a workshop that we did on redeemable deed investing. So that's one way you could learn, not only for Georgia, but for all the redeemable deed states. Okay, so for you, it's lack of knowledge and startup funds. Well, in Georgia, you're going to need some startup funds because the price of the deed gets bid up in Georgia. So you're going to need more money in Georgia, and it's competitive. You will need more. So you might want to start somewhere else if you don't have the funds. All right, in Georgia, you're going to need at least 50,000 to start. Unless you're just interested in land, maybe then you could start with 10 or 20. But yeah, it's not like a lien state where you could start, like even in Indiana where the price of the lien is bid up, you could get started with like $5,000. Okay, let's see. What else? Okay, Tay, I'm glad you liked. I don't always tell people what they want to hear, but I tell them the truth. Angie, hi Angie. In the middle of moving, once I'm settled in again, I'd like to start. Okay, so that is your challenge. I'm going to be with you because I'm going to be moving across the country from the East Coast to the West Coast in future months. Okay, not yet, but in future months. All right, Tay says his difficulty is not enough information or sometimes feeling overwhelmed with information and finances. Okay. In some tax lien states, you could start with less money. But with redeemable deeds and liens, you're going to need more money with deeds and redeemable deeds. All right, so you want to start in a tax lien state if you don't have much money. Indiana is a tax lien state. And the Indiana commissioner sales that are going on right now, they lower the opening bid. They lower the price of the lien. So it doesn't start at back taxes, it starts at a lower amount. The Lake County sale that's going on right now, they all start at $500. But some of the counties, they'll start at like $25 is the opening bid. And I've seen them go for that. So, that is a good sale to get started in. There are still some online sales coming up if you're interested in the Indiana training. Okay, and Nicole put that link in again for the webinar. And yeah, she says that's got to be on your end, Enrique, the error that you're having, because she's not having any problem with it. And it's coming from Google Calendar. Nicole, I find that the error message is coming from Google Calendar's link. I don't know what you're doing, Enrique, because the link that she's sending you is not a Google Calendar's link. It's a Zoom registration link. So you're registering on Zoom. So I don't know what problem, I don't know if has anybody else registered for that wealth building webinar and had any problems? I haven't heard of any. And we've got a lot of people that are registered. By the way, we've already got over 100 people registered. We can only have 100 people on the call, so get there early. How much money is required to get started in Maryland, on-site, auction, and online? Yeah, Jeff, Maryland has both. Some are online, some are on-site, but I suspect that many of them are going to be online due to COVID. Some of them were canceled last year. All right. So how much money do you need to get started? Well, here's the thing about Maryland. They do bid up the price. They do bid premium. But in Maryland, it's very odd. You don't pay the whole premium at the sale. You pay in some of the counties what they call high bid premium. It's formulated based on how high your bid is over the assessed value of the property. If it's under the assessed value of the property, you don't have to pay any premium until the lien doesn't redeem, and then you have to pay all the premium that you bid in order to foreclose. Some counties don't require you to pay any of the premium, just the certificate amount. So you just have to read, so each county is different in Maryland, and you just have to read all the terms of the sale. I do have a course that covers Maryland. It is the Buying Tax Liens Online course, Buying Tax Liens Online training. And again, you could get that. We just did an update to that for 2020. And that was a workshop that we did. You could get that workshop with the course at taxlienlady.com. If you go into workshops, it will list all the workshops that we've done over the last couple of years, and you'd be able to get that course. And it goes over Maryland, because a lot of their counties do have online tax sales. Oh yeah, your error, Enrique, probably came from your calendar, not from the webinar link. It came from your calendar. So you should be registered. And if you check your email, you should get something from Zoom, saying that you registered, All right, how are we doing? We're doing good on time. We still have time. I can hang out with you guys for another 15, 20 minutes. So if you have questions, fire away. Okay. What courses do I offer to start in Indiana? Well, right now is the Indiana training. It's called Done With You training, because I do it while the sales are happening. It's been going on since these sales started last month, and it will continue. Originally, we were going to have the last call tomorrow, but I am going to do a bonus call in 2 weeks as well. And the 4 modules are out there now. So the training is there, and we still have some live calls. Now, a lot of my trainings don't even have live calls, but this one, we still have 2 live calls. And then after we do the live calls, they're recorded and added to the training. And you can come back to the training each year when these sales go on. The course is, I think, actually, Nicole just put the link in again where you could find out about the course. But that is, I only have a couple of courses that are specific for specific states, and this is one of them. Not only is it specifically for Indiana, but it's specifically for these sales, because Indiana has 2 different sales. They actually have 3, because they have deed sales too. But they have their regular tax lien sales, which happen in the fall. All right, and those are covered in my Buying Tax Liens Online training. But these sales, the Indiana Commissioner sales, these only happen in the spring, and these are different. And so this is a specific training just for them. Okay. All right, you're welcome. Any more questions? Okay, and I am just going to scroll up through the comments here. I'm doing this on StreamYard, so I'm not actually on Facebook. So I'm just going through the comments that you guys, because I could see your comments here on StreamYard. So I'm going through them to make sure that I didn't miss any of the questions. I don't think I did. But if you think I missed if you asked a question earlier and you think I missed it, you could always put it in now. And I will get it. And Nicole usually catches things that I miss anyway, and she gives them to me. So thank you, Nicole, for being here. Okay. And Angie, where are you moving to? Where are you moving from and where are you moving to? Because I'll let you know if I've got certain states that I like for tax sales and certain states that I don't. Okay, yeah, and if you want to sign up for the Indiana training, sign up today so that you could be sure to get the reminders for tomorrow night, okay, to get in on tomorrow night's call. And you could get right into the training too, to the training site where all the training is. All right, and Stanley is asking, do you know anything about the Minnesota market? Yeah, it's not good. not one of my favorite. Not one of my favorite states. They sell deeds. They don't sell them for back taxes. They sell them, I don't know if it's like assessed value or something like that. I really haven't researched it too much or done too much with it because I just know it's not a good state to invest in. Okay, so Angie, you're moving from Virginia to California. Awesome, Angie. I'm doing kind of the same thing. I'm moving from Pennsylvania to the state of Washington. So yeah, I'm going west, just like you are going west, all the way across the country. So you'll have to let me know how it goes. Okay, and which states do I like best? Well, I'm here in Pennsylvania and I started investing in New Jersey. So I do like New Jersey, although New Jersey is very complicated. I also like certain places in New York. New York is very different, and the cities that I go to are not normal for New York. I like South Carolina, which is a redeemable deeds state. I like Michigan for deeds. Texas is a good state, but very competitive. Tennessee and South Carolina are states that I like for redeemable deeds. I like the states where you still have to go to live tax sales. Illinois is very good, but not to actually go to the tax sales. I like to get secondary liens in Illinois and in Florida. I don't necessarily like to go to the tax sales there because of the competition. But if you buy secondary liens from somebody who really knows, who's been doing it a real long time, really knows what they're doing, you could get some good deals. And that's what I teach my students how to do. Mississippi is a good state. Missouri, you actually have to be a resident of the state to invest there. So I like Missouri, I like Mississippi, even though the price of the lien gets bid up in those states. I do like states where the price of the lien gets bid up rather than the interest rate being bid down. Okay. Okay, just said the tax lien investing workshop includes a list of all the online sales tax counties, the interest rates and redemption dates. I'm really interested in Maryland to start out because the redemption. Okay. Trying to understand what you wrote. Here's what I think you said, Jeff, is that the online tax deed, the buying tax liens online workshop and course, yes, it does do all the states that have online tax sales or had online tax sales before COVID or right around the time COVID started, all right? Because since COVID, even more are online this year than were last year. So I did an update in 2020. But if you actually look at the course itself, there are specific trainings for Maryland inside the course. Okay, I do have specific trainings for Maryland inside the course for the full course. Okay, which I think is like if you go to taxlienlady.com, and then there is a link in the top menu for the tax lien investing workshops. And if you look on there for the course is $497, and that's the full course. Okay. And when you go to the course, there's a drop down box with the different trainings. There were different updates and different years. And there were a couple of updates for Maryland. Okay. Yeah, so there is specific information for Maryland in that training. Okay, any other questions? Let me see if I gave you all the announcements. I told you about wealth building webinar that's coming up next week. Told you about the Indiana training that's still going on now. There's a couple of other things. Actually, there's 3 other things that I want to let you know about. One is that I am going to do an Investing for Success conference on tax lien investing on May 6th. I didn't start promoting it yet. I don't have the information out there yet, but save that date. It's a Thursday, May 6th. It'll be from 12 to 4 o'clock. I've got some awesome experts lined up for that day, all right, including myself. And this is the first, in January, I did an Investing for Success conference, online virtual conference. And in March, I did one in the beginning of March, but those were on wealth building in general. They weren't just on tax lien investing. This one is just on tax lien and tax deed investing. I'm going to have a tax deed expert. I'm going to have experts on due diligence. I am going to have an expert on clearing the title to tax deed and tax lien properties. I'm going to have an expert on something that you've never heard about. And there's one other. And I'm going to have Lena Sells back on to talk about secondary liens in Illinois. So I've got a really great day lined up for you, great afternoon on May 6th. So save that date and look for more information coming up from me about how to register. I don't have it out there yet. All right, so that's one thing I wanted to tell you about. The other thing is you want to be a member. Oh, and by the way, it'll be free to come to that conference live. If you want the recordings, it's going to cost a small amount because I want to make back my expenses because I've got to hire a tech expert for the day. And I also want to give to a charity that I support. So I'll give, 10% of whatever we bring in from that will go to a friend who is a pastor in India, and he is Indian himself, and he brings the gospel to Indian people who live in very remote areas, and he also brings them medicine and food and clothing. So I want to contribute to his ministry. And there's something else that's coming up. Okay, so that's free to come live, but to get the recordings, there will be a small fee to get the recording. And I also usually give away one of my courses as a bonus too when you buy the recording. So I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet. Okay, the other thing that's coming up is, the other thing I want to tell you about that is also free to join is the Investing for Success group. It's a Facebook group. And Nicole, you could put in the link to the Facebook group. All you have to do, it's a private group just for tax lien investing. But you do have to answer some questions in order for us to admit you, because we don't want people in there that are going to try to solicit or not be nice. So you have to agree, first of all, that you're interested in tax liens, or we don't want you in the group, and that you will agree to our rules. And so we just have some questions to ask you. And the fourth and final question, you really have to agree to the rules before we let you in. So Nicole has put the link for you for that group in there. And there was one other thing I wanted to tell you guys about it, but it slips my mind what it is. I think I told you about, now I remember. If you would like to have a free consultation with me, a 30-minute consultation with me, you should have it. If you don't have at least $5,000 to invest in tax liens, it's probably not good to do this at this time, because this is to actually get you started. All right. If you need help just getting started and want me to point you in the right direction, then this is something that might be for you. And if you haven't had a consultation with me yet, you can go to taxlienlady.com/mentoring-application, and Nicole can put that link in there for you as well in the comments for you. And Jeff has one last question, and you're welcome, Jeff. Do I need to register for Maryland? And if so, when is the deadline? Each county has its own rules in Maryland, and they all have different deadlines, and they all have different registration terms. Some of them, you will have to do a deposit. I will tell you, City of Baltimore, in the past, they've had a sale that goes on for like 3 days, and they want to deposit each day that you register for. They want to deposit. And you don't get it back. It's like $100 or $150 each day that you want to bid. And it does have to be done ahead of time. I can't answer that for you now. That is something, if you go through the course, and you know what, if you're really interested in Maryland, Jeff, that is another done with you training that we could do during the Maryland tax sales. And that's something I've been thinking about, because I did one for Arizona, which is not one of my favorite states, because I had to update it. I had done it in the past and I had to update it. Indiana, this is the first time I did one for the commissioner's sale, but I was thinking about what should be our next done with you training. And Maryland might be a good one to do. All right. Yeah, so the deadline is going to be different for each of the counties. And you'll get an idea in the Buying Tax Liens online course. You'll get an idea about the deadlines. They usually happen in May. May and June are the Maryland tax sales. They start in May. Some of them might have even started. I'll have to check. But I will look into doing another a training just for Maryland. And if you, if you get the Buying Tax Liens Online course, I will, anybody that wants to go ahead and get the Buying Tax Liens Online course and is interested in the Done With You training for Maryland, let me know. Okay. All right, so Ray is asking, how much total would I need? 10,000 for the tax lien or tax deed and about 5,000 for coaching. I want to make sure that I have enough. Oh, did you the mentoring application? All I ask is that you have 5,000 to invest, because the consultation is free, to just have a free consultation with me. If you want coaching with me, then yeah, my coaching is really very affordable. I mean, I do coaching for a whole year for less than $5,000. So yeah, it's very affordable. Yeah, and if you have 10,000 for tax lien investing, it depends on which state. Yeah, that would work, Ray. Okay, so I think we've got to end this now, because I do have one of those consultations coming up at 3 o'clock, so I do have to go. All right. So everybody, thank you for your questions. This would not be fun without you, but I do appreciate your questions. And just lost connection for a minute. And I will see you in 2 weeks. We'll do another one of these in 2 weeks, the first and third Tuesday. And in the future, I might be changing these to Wednesdays. Okay, just a heads up. All right, everybody, you're very welcome, and I will see you next time. Bye.